my page. I'm not, it's just I don't get enough. I don't post political stuff, so I'm not really flagged by fact checkers. So I thought, well, I'm going to post it. The picture is gone from my phone.
Yeah, that happened when a post goes. All traces of it go.
But it's a screenshot. It's not a copy of the link. It was just a screenshot. That freaked me out. A screenshot disappeared.
That's a little troubling,
right? So that's a little off.
That wasn't supposed to happen, but it was appropriate.
It was actually very appropriate. So that was just a little strange. Another humorous thing, which was on apparently on Friday afternoon, a guy here in St. Catharines got pulled over by the cops at 9 o'clock at night. He gets pulled over, asked very directly, "Why are you out driving around after 8?" And he says, "Well, there's no curfew and I'm going to Tim Hortons." And the cop said, Tim Hortons is not considered essential. Go home."
Huh.
Now, first of all, cops aren't allowed to just stop you as a driver. That's been made very, very, very clear by Ford and the rest of the fucking group, to say that that's not what cops are doing. That is not what they're supposed to do. They're being out on force to catch, like there's house parties, if there's large gatherings, for people to rat out people. That's what it's all about. It's not about people just stopping people and driving. And Ford was very, very clear. If a cop pulls you over and says, "What are you doing driving around at night?" you do not have to answer him. He is not allowed to ask you that question.
Now, just to clarify for people that don't know, which agency is this? Is this a local police force or is this RCMP?
No, this is OPP.
OPP, that's even worse.
Yeah. So that's the Ontario Provincial Police. That those that don't know. Yeah, they are not allowed to do that. That's been very, very, very direct wording. And so this guy locally in this area posted a thing saying that. And another friend of mine that lives in, where the fuck does he live? Way up north somewhere. He actually had the same thing happen to his wife when she was on her way home from work.
See, it's all well and good to say the police aren't allowed to do this thing, but in the moment that they're doing it, what the fuck are you going to do?
Yeah, not a whole lot.
Yeah, reach for your cell phone, they'll shoot you.
Well, not if you're white.
No, it's true.
So, I mean...
But you can't do anything about it at the time the police are doing it, number one. Number two, if you argue, you're just putting a target on yourself. You're getting pulled over every time they see you for one thing or another. Like, they can do that. They can just, I know people in Vancouver that they get stopped and their bag gets dumped out every goddamn day just because they made a stink about something 10 years ago.
Been there, done that.
So, it's well and good for Ford to stand up and say, "Oh, the police aren't allowed to do this, so you go ahead and call somebody." Well, who am I going to call with a bullet in my head?
Yeah. Nobody.
Or taser up my ass, or whatever the case may be this year.
Billy club to the ear.
It's all well and good to say, and it's like my thing in court, where when someone violates the court order, what can you do? You can take them back to court. Well, that's great.
I gotta take him back to that place where he didn't give a shit about the first time. That's just awesome.
Exactly. Thanks, Dougie. Yeah. And might we all remember that, Doug, you're the one that started all this shit.
Yeah, that's the fucking truth.
Everyone kind of took your lead in the whole goddamn country. We all were watching you, Doug. So fucking step up.
Now, there was something I caught.
Was it COVID?
No, thankfully it was not. Again, same thing. I took a screenshot of the website specifically so that I could go back and refer to it to talk about it tonight. And the screenshot disappeared. So it's all getting very strange. Basically what it was
you just don't know how to do screenshots.
All my other ones are still there. Oops. Even the one I took earlier today is still there. Apparently, when you take a screenshot of a menu for a restaurant, they don't seem to care about that. But this was about this gentleman he is a retired Canadian Navy, Army, whatever the fuck he is, part of the Canadian Forces, and he was initially hired in the 80s and 90s, and even up to the early 2000s. He was part of the board that comes up with the emergency response. One of the things that they created on this one was basically an outbreak response thing that was designed specifically for an influenza style outbreak.
Was he responsible for the great nuclear response we had last year? When
No, and that's the thing.
when
They put out a very specific set of rules and plans that here's what you do. If this ever happens, this is what you do. They had a soft run during SARS to do a sort of test run, and they used that as an example. Okay, so here's what we got to sort of fix and make it better. Since COVID hit, they literally have completely thrown this entire thing in the garbage and done everything on it that they say you shouldn't do.
oh, of course,
And it comes down to there's 4 main points. You have to watch out. You follow the number of deaths, not the number of cases.
Right.
You track the deaths specifically. You do not disrupt and destroy the local businesses and fuck up the economy for this. And but sort of 4 main general points. Now, once you have those 4 points in there, now every decision you make has to be based off of those 4 points. So it's like the robot rules. But one of the big things is when anytime you have like an influenza style outbreak, the first thing you do is you lock down all senior care homes and seniors, and you do a mass hiring of healthcare workers. But here's the thing: what they do is they bring in a whole bunch of these healthcare workers, and you say, no, you're going to work 1 month shifts. We are not going to demand you do it. It is on full, what's the term?
Voluntary.
Totally voluntary. But there's massive financial benefits. If you do this, you're going to get these financial kickbacks. You're going to get this money back, and they're going to help do this and all this other stuff. And the thing is you work 1 month on, 1 month off. And that's the whole thing of way that works. And it's proven in the past. It works for many other instances. It's worked all over the world. It's a great system, and it works very, very, very well. The money that they said that the outgoing cost for a year-long pandemic would be about $3 billion in Canada. Canada is now sitting at $387 billion that they've already spent. While destroying the economy, destroying lives, destroying businesses, destroying jobs, and everything they've done. So basically everything they were supposed to do, they're doing. And it's
but
pathetic.
that's the whole point.
So it was just, but I'm still struggling with the point though. Like I'm still struggling. Like, is it supposed to be for like? I mean, I don't see the one world domination thing. I just
no, that's never going to happen. You have to figure out that that's not ever going to work, and it's never happening, and that's not what anyone's going.
So then, what's the point? Why destroy all the? Well, the only other thing would be simply is just to create a type of living where every human being that's in your country is completely reliant on the government.
Exactly.
Which makes it for example of socialism or socialist or the way old Russia was.
Yeah, exactly.
Communism. So that's the only outlying point. I just don't see. It never works. It always destroys the countries. It just doesn't. No good happens for it.
Yeah, but they don't care about good. They care about money for themselves. Look what they've taken away. All the things that they've taken away that aren't coming back. Our churches, our schools, our ability to think for ourselves. That's what's being taken from us. And now our individuality, our identity, literally.
But Trudeau isn't smart enough for any of this. So who?
No, Trudeau's not.
So who?
Who knows?
And it can't be Canada. It can't be so.
No,
we're pointless. Like it'd be no point to do it to us.
We're just in on that.
We're just in on it.
We're just in on it. It's not pointless. We're a lot of money. Look at the people that aren't suffering. Walmart, Amazon, all the richest people in the world. They're all making out like bandits right now.
Yeah.
Like in all the shutdowns and the fucking lockdowns and this and that, how the fuck did Walmart skate free? With 400 customers a day. Not 400 a day, 400 at a time, all fucking day. Yeah. Costco. All these places that stayed open and your business had to close.
Yeah.
And the more people push back now trying to open their businesses, the harsher the restrictions come. Yeah. It's like they're purposely just trying to stop business.
Yeah. And I just don't get it. I don't understand it. It's none of this is good for the people, the country, the government. None of it's good for anybody. Like nobody benefits truly from this.
Well, the government does because we're 100% reliant on them. We're 100% reliant on them now. We can't do anything without them.
But the government has no extra money coming in. Like they've lost all that revenue that was coming in taxes from all these businesses. They've lost it all. And if nobody can afford to do anything, no money's being spent in the country. It's a money loss.
They don't care about the country.
But they care about money. And they're losing money. And this is what I don't understand.
Well, they got to be getting it from somebody. They're getting it from somebody. Walmart's got to be giving them kickbacks. Amazon's got to be paying them something. All the rich people that just got richer this year.
But they're paying something. They're not going to give up their money for anything. They want to make as much money as they want to make, not just give it up to the government to say, here, take a quarter of my fucking money. Like, I don't know.
Maybe they don't have a choice.
Maybe
the governments have all just figured it out.
I just don't see the government being smart enough, strong enough, and powerful enough to have a say in anything.
Well, maybe we're not. Maybe we're just finally officially being run by the Chinese, and they just haven't told us that yet.
I don't know.
That would make sense. They've been buying up our country for 20 years. Maybe we are Chinese, and we just don't know it.
Yeah, they just haven't told us yet. Is French still an official language, or they eliminated that and made it Chinese?
I don't know yet.
I don't remember that memo.
Yeah. Little odd that Quebec is still the worst of the worst, and no one knows what's going on there. They're not even reporting shit, but they've got it worse than everywhere in the country.
Yeah. Gotta say that.
Is that because they're individual? They're so individual and they're so different. Maybe the government's sick of them. That's why they've got it worse than everywhere.
I'd be fine with that. Fuck you, Quebec.
I know you would be, but it speaks to a larger problem.
That's the only one I'll justify out of everything.
The problem I have is why aren't we doing anything? Why aren't we saying it? Everybody knows now. Everybody, if they don't know, they've got some theory about it. They understand that it's not what is being told to them. Everybody does, but nobody's doing anything about it. Everyone's like, oh yeah, they're probably lying. Oh yeah, those numbers probably aren't real. Yeah, we're probably not going to die. Well, then do something. Step up. Say something. No.
You see the Milton Talks thing. Just using Milton as a perfect example. If somebody comes up and speaks any ill towards any of this thing, they just get bombarded with hundreds of fucking comments of people losing their shit. That
burned at the stake.
Well, that's the vast majority, though. And this is, for me, this is what's terrifying. This is whatever they're saying.
Oh, I know. It happened to me.
Yeah, you make one little comment about, I don't think these numbers are real. And here's my proof for why I think, no, you're a fucking this and you're that, and you shouldn't be allowed to breathe. And
yeah, but why? I don't get it, and I don't get the fear. So what? Like some people on Facebook call you names. Big deal.
Yeah, that doesn't.
You should have seen. It's no different than the guy who's got 5 cars. By the way, Milton, the guy who's trying to park 5 cars in his fucking driveway. That got just as many comments and just as nasty.
Yeah, it did. That was a good one. Milton Talks.
Not even taking up my whole frontage. Well, but Marge measured it.
Fucking Marge.
And it is over your 11.5 allotted meters that you're supposed to have. You're not supposed to have this. You can't just turn your whole yard into a driveway. What's going to happen with the grass? Nothing. Grass is a weed, and you're not supposed to have it anyway.
It's a natural weed. It'll be fine.
It's supposed to be brown.